I've spent the last few weeks bonfire bashing my face in, trying to get something new to drop from that silly Solstice event. This year, the FOMO was real because Bungie decided to actually put some really good PvP perks on this 120 RPM hand cannon. We're talking Precision Instrument, Snapshot Sights, Explosive Payload, and Elemental Capacitor, just to name a few. And the best part? They're all enhanceable, and after collecting as many interesting rolls as possible, I've taken them into the Crucible to thoroughly test their potential. And I'm here today to share my findings with you, and we have lots to go over. I've enhanced 8 different rolls at this point in my testing, and there are a few god rolls that you need to know about. Beyond showcasing the power of these rolls, I want to also talk about some very unique ways you can push this weapon to its maximum potential, if you're willing to build your loadout into it, and just my overall thoughts on this hand cannon compared to the other 120s we have available. So let's get right into the thick of it, the perk everyone wants on a 120 hand cannon, Precision Instrument. There are many good perks you can pair with Precision Instrument on something new, and I've got 4 different combinations to show you. The first of these is Snapshot Sights with Precision Instrument. This is the first time we've had the possibility of getting this perk combo on a 120 hand cannon, and it goes without saying that this is an incredibly strong roll. The most important thing when using any hand cannon, but especially 120s, is getting the first hit on an opponent. So much of your success in a gunfight is dictated by having control over the cadence of your shots, and it's very easy to lose a fight if you're slow to aim and get flinched while trying to line up that first hit. Snapshot is the solution to that problem, cutting the time it takes to aim down sights in half and making this 120 feel just as the perk says, snappy. This in combination with Precision Instrument makes something new the perfect tool for quickly winning multiple successive engagements and allows you to play at a very fast pace. In addition to this, the combo of these 2 perks makes this hand cannon even more lethal on the ends of its effective range, both up close and far away. Snapshot makes it possible to use this hand cannon in the tighter angles that would normally be reserved for 140s or other medium range weapons, while Precision Instrument extends your effective range by countering damage falloff with its ramping damage buff. This roll is very strong from a neutral state, very quick, and very worth keeping if you were lucky enough to get it to drop. But if you didn't get Snapshot Precision Instrument, let me show you an alternative roll that is just as competitive from a neutral state and actually a little bit better, and that's Elemental Capacitor with Precision Instrument. Now, there are some trade-offs with choosing Elemental Capacitor over Snapshot. The first being that you have to use an Arc Super to get the handling benefits that we're talking about here. But thankfully, Prismatic opens things up for us so we're not entirely pigeonholed to an Arc subclass. Secondly, your ADS speed won't be as fast as Snapshot. It's still faster than stock, don't get me wrong, but it's only a 30% buff instead of the 50% that you get from Snapshot. Though, what you get in return is the dramatically faster weapon swap speed that comes from the plus 50 the handling, allowing for you to play more aggressively and with the confidence that you'll be able to quickly whip out your shotgun when the time comes. Now, everything I said before about Precision Instrument still applies to this roll, and fundamentally, this roll does the same job as Snapshot Precision Instrument, but gives you that added benefit of weapon swap speed if you're running the Arc Super. It might seem like a really small difference, but it's definitely worth it if you're looking to squeeze out a bit more performance from this hand cannon. Plus, if you're a Hunter main, Storm's Edge is hands down the best super in PvP, so you're probably already running it anyway. And speaking of squeezing out the last few drops of performance from this hand cannon, I want to show you what is possible with what might be the best perk you could pair with Precision Instrument, and that's To the Pain. Now, To the Pain is a new perk added in the final shape, and for hand cannons, it's one of the best perks in the game for just straight up dueling. Basically, taking damage rewards you with a stacking bonus of aim assist and handling up to 10 stacks. What I can say for sure is that it gives a lot of handling. Based on counting the number of frames it takes to ADS at 10 stacks, it looks equal to Snapshot Sights, if not maybe 1 frame slower, but that would only be a difference of about 15 milliseconds of ADS speed. I'm sorry to get so technical, but what I'm trying to say is it's good. Damn good. This perk is strong. It's like having Moving Target, Elemental Capacitor, and Snapshot all rolled into one. The way this hand cannon feels with 10 stacks of To the Pain is unlike anything else I've played with. It's incredibly quick, consistent, and so easy to use. Really, it's hard to miss headshots when I'm in gunfights at 10 stacks. The hitboxes feel enormous. But I get it, this sounds crazy and you're probably thinking, oh, what's the catch? Well, there are a few, but the downsides of this perk can be completely neutralized with a little bit of awareness and consideration for how it's designed to function. Basically, there are two things you need to be mindful of. From a neutral state, this perk does nothing, which means you need to be a little bit more careful setting up the first shot of your engagement, but as soon as the enemy returns fire, you'll feel the perk kicking in. Kind of like Eye of the Storm, except the buff stays with you even after your health comes back. Most gunfights I found myself building 3 or 4 stacks, and if the fights were really close and I lost a lot of health, I could almost completely charge the perk in one gunfight. The second thing to consider is that you lose all stacks of To the Pain when swapping weapons. This means you can't go around compulsively shotgun jousting every enemy you see. The point of this perk is to lean into your primary. That doesn't mean you can't use your special, it just means that when you do, you need to be pretty confident you're going to get a kill with it, because you'll be losing all of the stacks of the perk. Now, to avoid unnecessary weapon swaps, use a holster mod on your boots. And my preference is to combine it with a threat detector or slick draw shotgun, and then to save my shotgun as an instant panic button when someone rushes me or I need to make a little push. Again, I think this is one of the best PvP perks to have ever been put in the game. It just takes a little bit of skill and discipline to realize its benefits. Rolling around with 10 stacks of To the Pain makes Precision Instrument just feel broken. You land crits so consistently, the weapon becomes so responsive. Seriously, don't sleep on this roll, it's unbelievably strong. Before we move on to other perks like Kill Clip or Explosive Payload, I have one last pairing with Precision Instrument to talk about, and that's Rapid Hit. It's a true classic, and at this point, it seems to be good no matter what gun you put it on. The ideal way to build a rapid hit roll is to focus on range and handling, and then to let the perk take care of reload and stability. What you get in return is a nice all-rounder in terms of weapon feel, good flinch reduction from the increased stability, and fast reload after a couple of headshots. It's not the pinnacle of what's possible on this weapon, but Rapid Hit is a solid pick and balances out the weak stats that come with 120 RPM hand cannons. This roll would be the best choice for anyone who hates dealing with the slow reloads of 120s and doesn't feel like being forced to use transversive steps or hunter marksman's dodge to get around it. Now, these 4 options are all very strong in their own right, but if you're not dealing with groups of enemies team shooting and you're looking for an iteration of this hand cannon with the strongest 1v1 potential, then you should consider a roll with Explosive Payload instead. You can get a payload roll with all 4 of the perk pairings we were just talking about before, though I was only lucky enough to get good stats on one with Snapshot. I'm okay with that because I think this is the strongest pairing of the lot. And that's because the best thing you can do when you have a payload weapon is land the first shot in your gunfight. The goal is to disrupt the enemy, to flinch them. Granted, the effects of payload have been slightly nerfed, but it's still one of the best options you have for 1v1 dueling. Being able to quickly navigate narrow or off angles with Snapshot and then punish the enemy by hitting them first with Explosive Payload is very powerful and satisfying. If you have good aim and know how to play at a fast pace, you will absolutely love what is possible with this roll of something new. Now, before I give you my final thoughts on this weapon, we have one more perk combination to talk about and an absolutely nasty build to pair with it. Let me show you what's possible when you combine a Kill Clip roll with Mask of Bacchus. The 2 kill clip rolls you're seeing here are with Rapid Hit and To the Pain. Both of them are very good in their own right, and which one you choose will depend on personal preference. Basically, what we're doing here is stacking the damage buff from Kill Clip with the damage buff you get from dodging while using Mask of Bacchus and a stasis or arc weapon. And this allows us to 2-tap Guardians at any resilience. And let me tell you, this is the peak potential of something new. This setup is just disgusting. It catches everyone off guard, and before I talk about the nuances of choosing Rapid Hit or To the Pain, I want to talk about the specifics of the build and some other damage stacking that we can do this season with Radiant Orbs. And of course, there's a dim link in the description down below. Now, the secret sauce of this build is that we aren't limited to classic Stasis Hunter. As long as you're using Silence and Squall, this can be done on Prismatic. That means we can combine stylish execution with Facet of Solitude, which allows us to go invisible and get wall hacks provided you hit your optimal time to kill with something new. We can take this kill chaining ability further by equipping Radiant Orbs from the seasonal artifact and a Reaper mod on your class item. So, after hitting the back wrist dodge, you hit your 2-tap, reload again, this time manually, and pick up that orb giving you Radiant. This buff stacking also allows you to 2-tap Guardians at any resilience, so if your timing is right, you can just keep kill chaining. We can go even further by equipping Recuperation, Better Already, and Powerful Attraction. This means you can fully heal and apply 3 stacking damage buffs, all from just hitting your class ability. Right now, this is one of the most broken builds you can use with Prismatic Hunter. It's so easy to execute, and with the plentiful amount of orbs in the Crucible these days, kill chaining situations come up very often. As far as the nuances go between Rapid Hit and To the Pain, Rapid Hit is a godsend for the moments when you don't have your dodge fully recharged and still need to quickly reload for kill clip. This is still valuable because base kill clip will 2-tap anyone below 5 resilience. This means if you see a hunter out on the field, you can still make a play. The flinch reduction from the increased stability is also very nice in the extended gunfights you'll likely find yourself in. Now, To the Pain is definitely the stronger option for maximizing success in the critical moments after hitting that back wrist dodge. The snappy ADS speed you get from the handling buff alongside the huge increase to aim assist makes landing that 2-tap so much more consistent. Both are really fantastic options, but it just depends on your playstyle and which aspect of this build you want to strengthen. You know, something new is really something special. The versatility this weapon has is unmatched when you compare it to other 120 hand cannons, and I'm going to do my best to sum everything up for you here. My go-to is Snapshot Precision Instrument. You can use it with whatever subclass you want. It's consistent and just the purest form of what a 120 hand cannon is all about. Quickly playing your angles and chunking the enemy's health one crit at a time. My role here is a stability masterwork with accurized rounds and fluted barrel, which means I have 70 range, 50 stability, and 47 handling. This is a great feeling balance, and you still have 36 meters of effective range, which is plenty, but the gun feels much more lively than stock with that bump to stability and handling. As far as the origin trait goes, just use Nadir Focus. The buff to range and accuracy is not worth giving up for Dreamwork. Sure, you'll get some free reloads, but it's inconsistent and honestly kind of annoying to play with when you randomly have extra rounds and you can't reload when you think you need to. The base reload is the only downside here, but being a Warlock main with transversive steps, it's not a problem for me. A loader mod also goes a long way to combat that slow reload. Hunters obviously have Marksman's Dodge. There's ways to work around it. Though to me, this role is the GOAT. Hitting your shots is easy and rewards you greatly. I know this will be a hand cannon I use for a very long time, so I happily burned a Gold Trials memento onto it. If you're looking to be stronger from a neutral state, you could take Explosive Payload over Precision Instrument, but these days in Trials and Comp, I'm running into lots of team shooting and find that Precision Instrument is just too good to pass up. Still, being a little speedy jiggle peeking flinch dealing gremlin has its value, even in the current sandbox. But the value of that role is dependent on the map and the mode you're playing. If you're a Hunter main, take Elemental Capacitor and Precision Instrument. Chances are you're running Storm's Edge on Prismatic anyway, so why pass up the plus 50 to handling? Sure, you compromise a very small amount of ADS speed, but if Hunter Prismatic is where you feel best, then this should be your pick. You could also swap Precision Instrument for Explosive Payload, like I was just saying for the Snapshot variant. Ultimately, these 4 roles are very similar. It's just a matter of the specific nuances of the map, mode, and subclass you're playing. And finally, if you want to unleash God's Wrath on the enemy, go with the Bakris Kill Clip combo. It's damn near unstoppable in 6s, and you can put in work with it in comp or trials once you start to master the playstyle. And for your other perk, take what feels best. Rapid Hit, To the Pain, it doesn't matter, both are good. And if you have a Snapshot Kill Clip roll, I'm blocking you. That was the one thing I couldn't get my hands on, but I'm sure it will be fantastic also. In some ways, I'm glad I didn't get that role, because it led me down the path of discovery with To the Pain, and I realized just how good that perk really is. I know I glazed it up a bit earlier in the review and probably spoke a little bit too much in defense of its drawbacks, but it's an incredibly effective perk on a 120 hand cannon. It just has a high skill ceiling. So if you have a To the Pain precision instrument role, please spend some time with it. Focus on your fundamentals like map positioning. Learn what lines of sight a 120 hand cannon is strongest in. Pay attention to when it's time to rotate away from a fight, and you'll start to understand how strong To the Pain really is. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it so much. Going this deep into a weapon review takes a lot of time and energy, both in the hours testing out the roles in the game and in the hours editing all of the footage and writing out my findings. So when I say thank you for watching, I really mean it. If you're interested in supporting me and my channel, please subscribe and share this video with a friend. I'm so close to 1,000 subs, which means monetization for the channel and more videos like this. So again, thank you. And until next time.